despite, you know, what others think, I'm in support of all of y'all, your kind. Yep. Leaving the country and looking for a wife. Good luck with that. I hope y'all got some coins because women in other countries don't do
Now,
50
here's a
fifty.
story you probably didn't hear much of. You probably didn't hear it at all, but then again, I could be wrong. Maybe you did hear about it. NYC mom suspected of drowning her three kids was facing eviction, battling custody issues. Now, I probably already in a different video showed you the fact that women are at very high risk of eviction. Women are at extremely high risk of eviction from their apartments, and women are at extremely high risk of foreclosure. You see, the issue is in the story that I brought up, they talked about the fact that women were the number one purchasers of brand new houses, especially during the pandemic. I believe ultimately men typically are willing to rent instead of going and buying a house on their own if they can get around it. And men would rather just get their money up first. But the problem is when you're dealing with women who are attempting to show off what they got, they end up going out there spending money and buying properties that they can't afford. God will make a way somehow. When you go to these churches and they preach prosperity gospel, they have people convinced that they can make horrible financial decisions and that God's just going to take care of them and they're going to find a bag of money. I went to a prosperity preacher's church one time with some friends. This was their church. I just went because I was visiting. You know how they invite a friend to church day or something like that? Well, I was the friend that got invited to their church. And I swear to God, this reverend was preaching that if there's a house that you see and you want this house, he said that he and his wife saw a house that they wanted this house and they wanted it real bad. So they started running around this person. I swear to God, I can't make this shit up. He said, I started running around the house. Me and my wife were running around this person's house. So here you got these people who you don't know, strangers, running around your house. And he said that the person who owned the house came outside the house and said, what are you doing running around my house? And he was like, we're running around the house because we want this house. And I swear, this was his sermon. And long story short, the guy said, well, that's interesting because I was planning to sell this house. And long story short, apparently they bought this house. And I swear to God, this is the story. Now, why am I saying that? A lot of these women have purchased these properties. They bought into these apartments. They bought into these properties. I've been watching some of them on YouTube, in fact. And they're talking, like, I watched this one chick on YouTube. It's a white girl. I can't remember. Oh, I think her name was Zoe Pritchett. And she was talking about how she had just lost a job. And then I'm watching her on her YouTube spending money. And I'm like, wait a minute. If you just lost your job, how are you spending money? And she was showing like how she was going through this process of finding another job. And I wished her well. I hope she find another job. But the amount of money that she was spending on her channel, I'm like, wait a minute. If you lost your job, what are you doing spending money? But see, women don't think like that. Women don't. It's like you have squirrels that store nuts away for a cold winter because they know winter's coming, so they start storing nuts. Women don't do that. Women go out and fucking spend money, and if they don't have the money, they take it out on credit. And then they think that somehow it's going to magically pay for itself. But here you got this story. I'm going to get to the story because I divert the hell out of these stories. But anyway, it says Erin Murdy, 30 of Coney Island, owed more than $10,000 in back rent for her Neptune apartment, where she lived with her children and had been threatened with getting booted out since January after the state's COVID-19 eviction moratorium expired. The mom, who allegedly told Ken she drowned her kids, 3-month-old Oliver, 4-year-old Liliana, and 7-year-old Zachary, on a nearby beach early Monday, had stopped paying her $1,531 a month rent July 2021 and was served with an eviction notice days before the moratorium expired. Relatives reached by the Post on Monday. They said Murdy appeared unstable in recent years and had trouble maintaining consistent relationships. There was a time when Erin and I were in contact all the time, but in 2015, 2016, she disappeared off the earth. I didn't know how to get in touch with her. Murdy's uncle, Levi Stephen, told the Post. Now I'm faulting myself for that. She obviously needed help, and you can't help but think maybe I could have done something. So it says, I'm at a loss for words. It's not every day you lose 3 family members in one day, he said. Nobody wants to go to the funeral and see those 3 bodies. Another uncle, Jean Stephen, 64, said Murdy didn't appear to have her life together. Let's see. It says anybody can go out and fool around, but a person that's stable can settle down with one person. She didn't have her life together enough to do that. Around 1 a.m. Monday, concerned relatives called police to report Murdy might be drunk and might have done something to harm her children. Hours later, the mom was found by police walking barefoot through the sand on the Coney Island beach, wearing a bathrobe and appearing dazed. Okay, they show a couple of pictures. This is a New York Post story. You can read it. You can read it yourself if I'm skipping too much for you. So the bottom line is, why did I lead off with this story? Understand something. We are right now, I would say we are right now at the cusp of an economic catastrophe. The Federal Reserve has raised interest rates. It's already caused the stock market to fall apart. It obviously caused the crypto market to fall apart. It has created a situation where it's very difficult, if not impossible, for people to simply go out and finance stuff like they used to be able to. If you want a car now, you're going to pay a very high interest rate for it, or at least you're going to pay an interest rate much higher than what you would have paid back in January. If you try to buy a house now, the interest rates are over 6%, and the housing values have skyrocketed, and they haven't come down. And since this is nothing like 2008, I don't believe the housing prices are going to come down anytime soon. There's too many people purchasing homes, renting them out, or using them for Airbnb, or using them for investment purposes. And the reason why is because I believe, and I've been saying this for years, I've been saying this since before COVID. I was telling you to get properties because I knew, regardless COVID, I knew that property values were going up because I was watching them go up. Now, I had no idea COVID was going to happen. I had no idea inflation was going to happen. I had no idea Russia's going to invade Ukraine and send the world into a global energy crisis. I had no idea about those things. But what I did understand was that once you have yourself property, if you have one property, that's great. But if you have 2 properties, that's a business. Once you have 2 properties and you have the ability to rent out to tenants, that's a business. Those give you business expenses. That's self-employment if you're a landlord. Once I understood that, I was trying to tell people, I was like, yeah, go out and get yourself a property. But too many people, they wanted to spend their money on fucking cars. They wanted to go out and buy Chargers, Challengers, fucking Range Rovers, all that shit. Some of you were lucky enough to have a property to keep your head under, you have your ceiling fan up there. Some of you didn't. And that was the reality. But the issue ultimately is that the economic situation that you have coming, there's no bailouts this time. Nobody's getting bailed out this time. When it hits this time, there ain't no bailouts. That goes for the corporations, that goes for the banks, that goes for the women. The women and the children usually get hit first. And it does a huge disservice to your community and to your civilization in general to have women who are actively alienating themselves and their children from their husbands. Regardless what excuse they come up with, regardless what lie they come up with, the issue is 2 salaries are better than 1. Now, what's sad about passport bros to me is that the passport bros are getting these women from overseas who recognize how important it is to have a husband, not a baby daddy, not a live-in boyfriend. They want to have husbands because they know that their husband can shoulder that burden. They know that the weight is made for shoulders, not for hips. But these women here are determined to put all that weight on their hips. I don't know. It's like ice skating uphill. It's like you see that this is a stupid thing to do. You see that this is going to cause you nothing but problems in the future, and you still choose to go the route And then you end up in catastrophe. You end up with absolute catastrophe. It's a shame, but that's what it is. And the sad thing about it is, this isn't the only story you're going to see like that. Mental illness is everywhere. I'm learning that more and more every single day I get on the road and I see people how they're driving. Mental illness is everywhere. There's a lot of unstable, in crisis, on the edge people out there. Not just women, men too. And they got their little one-room flat. Some of them have kids, some of them don't. And they're on the edge. They're on the edge. And the question is, how many of these situations are we going to see? Because I'll tell you like this, it's very, very difficult right now to serve evictions in New York. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people don't want to be landlords, because if somebody stops paying, it's very hard to get them out of your house. And then it puts you in a bad situation, because the reality is, if you're a landlord, you don't want to evict people, especially if they've got young children. You don't want to do it. But the issue is, when you're dealing with these corporations and these conglomerates, you ain't nothing but a number to them. So they may never even see your face, and they will push your ass right out. And when you leave, you're going to Section 8, or you're going to some government subsidized welfare, what is it called? One of those shelters. And these women, by being lascivious and having these baby daddies out there floating around, they have no idea who their kids belong to, never had those pregnancy tests, never married anybody, just having them. And they got these men out there floating around, and they have no idea where they are, what they doing, who they with. And they've stuck there with their kids, and they've got no one helping to deal with these children. So they end up taking on all of the responsibility, and it ends in tragedy just like this. And this is not the first time this has happened, nor will it be the last. And the shame of it is, it didn't have to be that way, but it was. And my thing is, when are these women going to understand? Well, first of all, see, here's the thing. Passport Bros already recognize that this situation is not salvageable at all. It's not salvageable. So if Passport Bros decide they're going to divest, they're going overseas, they're going to get what they get, and maybe they'll stay overseas, maybe they'll bring them back. But the bottom line is, they're not going to deal with this. So if that's the situation, and then you've got these women who are still here having all of these children with these men who are not responsible, and they're having a large number of children with a smaller percentage of men, while a larger percentage of men is growing, getting passports and leaving, and getting women from overseas because they want real marriage, they want traditional values, they want traditional marriage, they want a real loving relationship, and they want a real traditional family that's going to live under their patriarchy. You can call it what you want. You can hate the fact I use the words. I don't care. Because the bottom line is, there's nothing they can do to stop the Passport Brothers from doing what they're doing. They can go get their K-1 visa, get their wife. They can go move to her country, get their wife. There's nothing you can do to stop that. So when I say that these men are going to get what they want one way or another, when these women jump up and they're saying, oh yeah, well, you owe child support, you can't get a passport. Listen, most of these men are single, childless, and unmarried. Yes, they can get a passport. All it costs them is $200 at most. So what kills me is the fact that they just didn't get it yet. And I'm not trying to shame, blame, or explain to them. At this point, I don't care what they do. What I'm saying is that now it's getting bad because the desperation is leading to absolute catastrophe just like this one. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can do whatever you want. I don't really care. My thing is, if you're putting other people's lives in jeopardy and harming others because you couldn't hold your liquor, because you lost your fucking mind, that's where I have an issue. And there's really no answer for it. Since John F. Kennedy was in office, mental health services have gone kaput. Now, most people try to blame Reagan, but it was really John F. Kennedy. And the reason why was because his sister was lobotomized, and he didn't like that. So they worked to get rid of asylums, which is something we should have, but we don't have. We just don't have it. And had they done what they should have been able to do and thrown her into an asylum, and I shouldn't say thrown, like you remember Sarah Connor in Terminator 2, how she wouldn't stop talking about the robots and shit? You remember the asylum? Had they put this one in an asylum and taken those kids and given them to ACS or given them to the father, those kids would be alive today. But they're not. She's in a straitjacket. She's in a bed. And she's got her little orange straps and everything. But those kids aren't here no more because of her. And we have no way of dealing with what's coming. There's a lot of people facing eviction. There's a lot of people facing foreclosure. There's a lot of people with undiagnosed mental health issues, especially since COVID. And we have absolutely no answer for it. This is one of the reasons why they hate Passport Bros so much, because we have literally said we're not going to deal with this. We've literally said we are divesting, you're on your own. And it's not like we're leaving kids behind. It's not like we're leaving families behind. No. We're just leaving them behind. We're saying, no, we're not going to deal with this. We don't want you. We want something better. We want a better option. And for these idiots, I got to say this before I move to another clip. For these morons like Minister Jap and Mr. Let It Go, for these loser morons to try to shame Passport Bros, who are literally, first of all, they're dick policing. That's number one. So my thing to you is, why are you worried about what another man does with his wallet or his dick? That's number one. Second of all, for any of you to try to say Passport Bros are cornballs, well, the thing about it is you're just mad that we're taking away your market share. You're just mad that all of that spit game bullshit that you're running, that nonsense, stupid shit that you keep talking about that hasn't gotten you or your channels any traction at all, and you're losing views. You're just mad that you're losing market share and that these brothers are going and getting their passports and they're leaving you behind with these strags. And there ain't nothing you can do about it because you can't. The videos that we're putting out, we got videos of Brazil, we got videos of Colombia, we got videos of Mexico, we got videos of Dominican Republic, we got videos of Curacao, Sosua. They got videos coming out every damn week, and there's nothing you can do about that. And now the dudes who used to watch you and were mesmerized by your stupid bullshit, your stupid, retarded bullshit, you're just mad that you're losing your market share.
So I ran across the post about black men going and getting their passport and flying to a different country to find women that are like wives. Okay, cool. Happy for you, brothers. Safe travels. So, 3 things. 1, are y'all still going to require these foreign women to pay 50-50? Because I'm going to let y'all know right now. My man is Nigerian, and the women in his family, they don't do 50-50. Just letting you know. You either got to come with the bread, or they not even trying to talk to you. So, that's the difference between American women and foreign women. Y'all want women to pay 50-50, but y'all going to a foreign country to find a wife that's going to pay 50-50? That's not going to happen.
When you're a passport bro, there is a certain level of responsibility that you have. Now, when I say responsibility, with great power comes great responsibility. And our U.S. passports absolutely represent great power. You have to act responsibly. There's certain stupid shit that some of you can't do. Now, first of all, this is the story. They canceled the visa of an American recorded while having sex on the balcony in Cartagena. Now, here's the thing. First of all, this is public indecency. This is going to get you in trouble no matter where you go, okay? So the reality is, it's like whether you did this here or you did this there, public indecency is always a problem. Here's my question, though, before I even read the story. Why would you be so stupid Or my thing is, why would you feel it's so necessary to be banging it out on a damn balcony? Now, when I go overseas, it's like I get a nice, comfy queen or king size bed. I've got nice, comfy futons, and you can stay right in your the warmth, or you could stay in the coolness, or whatever it is. The AC is on and it's nice and cool in there. Why would you feel it necessary to do this? And that's one thing I gotta say about, and I'll say I'm not gonna be too specific, but I'll say some of my behavior in China. There was some behavior in China, and I don't know what, maybe it's something about balconies, and maybe it's something about Americans being attracted to balconies. I don't know. But I'm not gonna be very specific, but I exercised some behavior on a balcony in Shanghai, and that behavior, looking back, I think I definitely shouldn't have exercised that behavior. Now, I never got caught, I never got punished or anything, but I would say that behavior that I exhibited, I shouldn't have done. I don't know what it is about balconies. Some people go to balconies and they throw things over the balcony. They want to see, like they throw paper airplanes over the balcony. I don't know what it is. There's like something magical about a balcony. So all I'm going to say is, please don't do anything stupid in public when you go overseas. Now I had an excuse. I was younger. I was a lot younger. I was half the age I am now. And that's, as far as I'm concerned, that was my excuse. I wasn't mentally mature enough to understand, because at that time I hadn't seen the Superman movie or the Spider-Man movie yet, and I didn't understand that at that time, great power comes with great responsibility. Now that I've seen Spider-Man, now I understand what they were talking about. Great power comes with great responsibility. And now I understand the power of my passport, because now these pathetic strags have gotten so bad that now I actually look back and I see that my passport is power and I need to protect it, and so do you. So all I'm saying is, please don't do anything stupid in the fucking public. Now, before I even start reading this, which I'm going to start right now, I would like to say, I have not seen this video. This video must have just happened, and this person must have been recorded recently. Oh no, it says July 15th. I'm gonna read the story. If you have the link to this video, I'd appreciate it if either you email me, bigtruckseriesreview@gmail.com, or if you could post the link to the video in a comment, and I'll be sure to either pin that comment, or I'll be sure to give it a good review, and I'll look over it. So anyway, the American citizen will no longer be able to re-enter Colombia for sex on the balcony in Cartagena. On July 15th, the moment where a couple had intercourse on it. And see, one thing I have to appreciate is that they're very, very careful and selective with their words. See, there's a difference between intercourse and sodomy, and I'd like to thank them for using the proper terms, so this way we know what's been going on. They had sexual intercourse on a balcony in Cartagena. The event was recorded in the historic center of the capital, Bolivar, in a hotel on Calle Segunda de Baldillo. People walking down the street pulled out their phones and recorded the scene. In many videos flooding social networks, the couple can be seen naked, caressing each other, and having active sexual practices. The scene had many spectators. So they did this on purpose. Now, I just don't understand why anybody would do that shit on purpose. I don't want nobody watching me do that. Come on. And even her, you think that she would know better than that. Once you're on tape doing something like that, you go. It never goes away. It's like, why would you do that? According to the commander of the Metropolitan Police of Cartagena, General Nicolas Zapata, it was a North American citizen from New York City. Oh God damn it, you motherfucker. God damn it. Oh, Jesus Christ, these stupid assholes. Okay. From New York City and a woman from Cartagena. The couple must pay individually fine, and and this is exactly how they wrote it. The couple must pay individually fine of 416,662 Colombian pesos. Now, first of all, let me figure out what that is. So let's see, 662 Colombia. I'm from Colombia. Colombian pesos to USD. Okay? That is, oh my God, you gotta be fucking kidding me. That's $93. It's a fine of $93. They've been forced to pay 416,662 Colombian pesos. That's $93. I thought it was gonna be something high. Like, if you told me I was gonna get fined like 100,000 anything, I would have thought that shit was high. Oh my God. No wonder why people go to Colombia. That place is cheap. So you get a $93 fine for public indecency. So that's not too bad, but you shouldn't have done it. That was stupid. Two subpoena orders were made applying to the National Code of Coexistence and Citizen Security in Article 33 2B, which are conduct affecting the silence to be carried out works of exhibitionism causing annoyance to the community declared during the Colonel Oscar Pachon, operational commander of citizen security of the Cartagena metropolitan area. In addition, the authorities indicated that in the case of the American from the New York, Migration Colombia did not admit his visa. The district mayor's office of Cartagena rejected these practices and called on tourists to enjoy the city in a responsible way and engage in sustainable tourism. Well, you guys just made $100 fining this guy for fucking on a balcony. I can't think of anything more advantageous than that. He got caught banging a chick on the balcony, and you made $93 for the state. I can't, that's very profitable if you really think about it. Okay, from Cartagena, we promote responsible and sustainable tourism, events like the ones that happened this weekend in the city. These are behaviors that we totally reject. Notice that they're not using periods. They're not using commas either. We call on citizens and tourism providers to jointly set the rules of conduct at the destination, explained Natalia Borges Castilla, Executive President of Cartagena de Indias Tourism Corporation, through her Instagram account. Let us know that there are sanctions that can be applied and we can together promote the tourism we want for the city. The official has said in this video, this is not the first time such an, I'm sure it hasn't, I'm sure it's not, especially if you're only fining $93. I would have fined him $200. Okay, so anyway, this is not the first time this has taken place in Walled City. The most recent case occurred in May at the Clock Tower. So these people went to the Clock Tower. Maybe they should call it the Cock Tower. So anyway, the video also spread through social networks. In the film record that is shown, a couple had sex in a public place in Cartagena. Area leaders called the attention of residents and tourists to respect the rules, as well as the authorities to punish these people. Well, why would you punish them? They were fucking and it was consensual. Why would you punish them? They were giving y'all a show. Okay, so it says the article considers the punishment of those who commit sexual activities or exhibitionism causing chaos in the community. Anyone who has such behavior will be subject to the application of the following corrective measures. General types of fines, 3, and a warning. Oh, okay, don't do that fucking no more, okay? Please stop fucking. Just stop fucking. Put the dick down. Okay. It is important to note that kisses or caresses are expressed by people regardless of their gender, skin color, sexual orientation, or gender identity as expressions of affection, as an exercise of their right to free personality development. So that's the story right there. These people on this balcony, somebody was getting it in, and they were getting it in real good. And again, if you have the clip of this video, I'll give you you already have my email. You can mail me that clip. I'd love to see it because I'm going to review it for, for research purposes.
Men don't want a partnership. They don't want to have to, bicker or figure out who's leading in what scenario at what time. A lot of guys at the end of the day, when they're looking for wives, when they're looking for long-term partners, they just want wives. They don't want this whole co-lead, co-partner, co-parent, co-lead. A lot of them are not into that. Now, I'm not saying that this means that it's going to be like a complete dictatorship. But what's going on right now in this culture where men and women are essentially placed in positions to be co-equal, a lot of guys just are not interested in that dynamic when it comes to marriage in particular. Why? Because the expectations are still for men to do and provide and act in ways that are still very much traditional. So it looks like a bad deal. It's like I'm still expected to put my life in the line, to make all this money, to go and, do all this work and to provide a safe, stable home. But now my partner has the freedom to one day be traditional, to another day be modern, to one moment be her feminine, to another moment be her masculine. And it just sounds like a bad deal.
Let me be very specific about why I'm doing this portion of a response. Well, here you got a person named Ringo TV Reactions, and as you know by now, Passport Bros is trending. There's a lot of struggle channels that have decided that they are going to take this as an opportunity to either defend or to attack Passport Bros. Now, in this unfortunate soul's case, he decided to attack Passport Bros. And I was deciding whether or not I was going to make a response video to what he made. And I'm not even going to use clips of his video because I didn't really consider it worth watching. However, there was a part in it that I will respond to, and that had to do with a list that he made up talking about the Passport Bros. So we're going to get to that in a second. First, I'd like to give a shout out to this person right here, Gianni Skywalker. And it says, leave him alone. You've been on the platform. Stupid motherfucker spelled the shit wrong. The platform with a T, not with a from, O-R-M, since its inception. And you haven't been able to make a solid collection. I haven't been able to make a solid collection. What the fuck does that mean? What does that mean? F-O-H means fuck out of here. So I replied to this person. I said, thanks to your stupid ass comment, I'm definitely going to respond to this stupid shit. He has you to thank. Okay, so this is the video that he made.
Come get some 0%. That's right, Security Dodge is offering 0% for up to...
And so I'm going to skip past all this bullshit and go straight to the list that he made because this list is the important part. So this is the list. I'm going to rotate the screen. It said, okay, so basically he put down a couple of questions, and I'm going to just answer these questions, not only for him, but for any other moron that wants to answer these, that wants answers to these questions. I'm going to answer that for them too. Anybody who decides that they want to make a response video bashing Passport Bros, keep in mind, I'm willing to take all the smoke. Your smoke doesn't even interest me because your struggle channels and your struggle smoke is just beneath me. However, every now and then, when you live in a city, you get used to sniffing thoughts that are in the air because there's so many other people around you. So the smoke don't worry me. Your smoke is irrelevant, but I'll take it. I'll take it just the same. In fact, maybe the clout chasing will get you a couple of points someday. So anyway, first question that he asks, when are the Passport Bros going to leave America? Now, just like the rest of these strags, here you have a male who's asking, because he's probably a feminized male, asking, when are the Passport Bros going to leave? Now, first of all, let me just settle this shit right now, because some of the Passport Bros, I haven't seen solid answers to that question, so I'm going to answer it. First of all, they'll leave when they're goddamn fucking good and ready. And if you got a problem with that, I want you to come right over here and you come help me pack my bags, because I got something for you. I got a nice bag for you to pack. The only question is going to be, what's going to go into that bag? What's going to go into that big black bag? I got a big black bag, and you can put some stuff in it for me. So some passport bros are willing to go to other countries and work abroad. Some are not. Those who aren't going nowhere. So if they, and I've seen this so many times, if they choose to get a woman and they choose to bring her back here, that's none of your fucking business. If they are taking whatever risk they're taking and they choose to bring a wife back here on the K-1 visa, that's their business. You'll never say anything to them in person about it, so you might as well not say anything to them on the internet about it, because you're whack. So if they don't want to bring somebody back, if they want to live in another country and they want to stay in another country, that's their choice. Stop dick policing. This is not up to you. Stop dick policing. Stop wallet policing. This isn't your choice. You've got nothing to say because you're a loser and a struggler. You're struggling. That's what you're doing. You're struggling. Okay, next question. All they do is talk about how bad women in America are, but they're still here. Leave already and stop talking shit. Okay, let me make this one very clear for you. I'm going to talk as much shit as I want. And I will leave when I'm goddamn good and ready. I hope that answers your question. And let me explain this to you, because my viewers already know about me. I'll tell it to you in your face. Because my viewers know I'll tell it to you. In person, I'll tell it to you in your face. So anyway, video after video on how women in America are bad, but these same guys are overseas paying for box. I haven't bought any box. I haven't bought no box. And by the way, some of these dudes very well may go overseas and pay for box. Guess what? That's their business. If you wouldn't ask them in person about whether or not they pay for box, then you ain't got much to say about it on the internet. You're just a keyboard warrior. Why don't you go ask somebody who just came back from another country, did they pay for some box, and see what happens? Comprende? Okay, next. To you, passport brothers, what's taking you clowns so long to move out of America?
Number 2, why are you in your 40s and 50s just getting a passport? That just shows me how uncultured, ignorant, and some of y'all stupid you all are.
Shut up, bitch!
Get the fuck out of here.
And she said she's married to a Nigerian. Oh, she got a Nigerian man, right? I'm Nigerian. We don't do that 50-50, but you best believe we are traditional. We are raised to be traditional men. That means your ass is at the crib, cooking, cleaning, and taking care of my children. It's God, the husband, the wife, and the children, in that order. That's how a typical Nigerian man was raised.
Number 3, what makes y'all think when y'all fly over to a foreign country that these women gonna want y'all? Not saying that some won't. Not saying that. But what makes y'all think all of y'all that's flying over there, all these women gonna want y'all? I'm just curious. It's funny to me.
Here's a newsflash, ma'am. If you didn't know, black men are the second most desired men on this planet. White men are first, black men are second. Look it up, ma'am. Look it up.
What's taking you clowns so long to move out of America? Well, first of all, I'm going to say it again. Some passport bros intend on staying right here in America. And guess what? They going to stay right here in America. Period. And you ain't going to do nothing about it. Now, some passport bros have decided that they absolutely want to move, and they're going to move. Guess what? You ain't going to do nothing about it. Not only ain't you going to do nothing about it, you ain't nobody to give nobody no deadline either. See, deadlines come from people with power. You ain't got none. And I'm talking to every single one of you who makes that question, who always asks that same question. You ain't got no power. You ain't got no power. So you don't make deadlines. You know who makes deadlines? The governments, the consulates, embassies. They make deadlines. You don't. You ain't nothing but struggling. So you don't make deadlines. You don't rush nobody. You ain't rushing me. You ain't rushing these other guys. You ain't rushing these other passport bros. We move when we goddamn feel like moving. Big Paulie don't move for anybody. I hope you understand that, because I hate for you to get the rude awakening. Next, why do you keep coming back? Well, there's a reason for that. We pay taxes in this country. So the simple fact of the matter is, number one, we pay taxes here. Number two, the healthcare here is pretty much impeccable. Number three, and let me actually say this in all seriousness. I don't think that any American citizen, now short of you being a criminal or short of you absolutely having to do it, I don't think any American citizen should renounce their passports. Now, granted, that's a decision between you and your country. Some people have decided that they're going to run to another country and they're going to stay there as long as they possibly can. Even if they die in that other country, they're not coming back. Like, for example, I believe it was Cardi B who sued that moron loudmouth who was making comments about her. What was her name? Cardi B sued. I can't even remember her stupid name, because I listened to her show and she was full of shit. But let me see. What Cardi B sues? What's her name? Against, what the hell is her name? Tasha K. There you go. Her name was Tasha K. I had to look that shit up because I honestly didn't know. So anyway, as far as I've heard, Tasha K got sued and lost a lawsuit for $4 million. So she decided to pack her shit up and run to Africa. That's what I heard. So I'm just saying that as a caveat that this is what I heard on this celebrity gossip stuff. So there are some people who will renounce their citizenship just so that they're not financially liable or something in this country. So those people are different. Those people, anybody who wants to run and hide and shit from the U.S. government, yeah, good luck. But I'll be watching on Real Stories of the Highway Patrol when they finally catch you and they bring you in chains. I'll be watching that episode. So anyway, let's see. Where is your wife from overseas? Well, in a couple of videos, I've explained that most passport bros, just like I've been posting photos of people who I know who've gotten married to women overseas. See, some of y'all are so stupid that y'all don't even understand that there's a process for the K-1 visa. And that process can take up to 2 years sometimes. Some of these dudes who've met women overseas and they decide that they want to get married, they have to go through this long, arduous process of bringing her back to this country. Now, that's some dudes. Some dudes actually move overseas and they live with the woman in her country and marry her in her country. But some of these dudes who are using the K-1 visa process, they go through the process and it may take a year, it may take 2 years. During the COVID pandemic, it was shut down for like 3 or 4 years almost. Well, not really 3 or 4 years. I mean, it was shut down for a very, very long time. You basically had at least 2 years it was shut down. And then the other problem was some of the other countries didn't open right back up. So then it took an even longer amount of time for people to go back to their fiancés or to go back to their people who they met. But the bottom line is, you know what? I'm gonna say it again. It's none of your business. If they get married, they get married. If they don't get married, they don't get married. You ain't nobody to make any deadlines. It's just that simple. You ain't nobody. Nobody lives on your time but you. You ain't nobody. You don't make deadlines. We get married when we damn well please. And that's that. You hear the sound of my voice? That's that. So anyway, next, stop posting. First of all, when I hear somebody say stop, that's when my antenna go up. You don't tell me to stop doing shit. And just because you said stop, I'm going to keep doing it. Whatever it is. I don't even know what it is. Let me find out what it is. Stop posting random pics. You spelled it wrong. It's not pics, you dummy. P with a K. No, it's P-I-C. Pictures. Doesn't have a K. God damn. Anyway, stop posting random pics of other people allegedly getting married. No. They didn't allegedly get married. The people who we posted pics got married. Anyway, where are your photos of your getting a wife and having kids overseas? Well, first of all, having kids overseas is the easy part. All that requires is a couple of nights of unprotected sex. And when the guy comes back, he gets a call and, oh, honey, my stomach is hurting. I fear the worst. My stomach is hurting. I think I might be preggers. And then she goes and she gets one of those, what are those things called? A pregnancy test. And when she gets that pregnancy test, that's when she finds out and she's like, oh, yeah, honey, I'm pregnant. It's yours. And then, you know, that's just what it is. So, listen, people are getting married overseas. People are having children overseas. I don't know why that's so complicated. It's actually pretty simple. Next, passport males are the biggest losers on social media. Wrong. The biggest losers on social media are the game dudes that claim that they've got all the women and that they've got a great mouthpiece. They've got a great mouthpiece, so they spit game to the game. They spit so much game, they got a good mouthpiece. Those are the biggest fucking losers. In fact, I'd say that the position for biggest loser on social media is tied between the game dudes and the crypto bros. The crypto bros are some serious fucking losers. They've lost over 60% of their money chasing after these dreams of being able to buy a fucking Lamborghini with a single Bitcoin. And they've lost so much money until they ain't never seeing that money back. Now, whether or not you consider losing a large amount of money or, being a fake that can't get real women and can't get the women you claim you can get, I don't know which one you consider to be the biggest loser, but I really consider the game dudes to be the biggest losers. In fact, the game dudes, unlike the crypto bros, the game dudes are the loudest guys in the space about passport bros because they know that if more men get their passports and they go overseas, they know that they've lost their market share because there's nobody to talk to except the females who are left behind, who are manless, single, childless, unmarried here in America. So that's just the reality of the situation. No, the game dudes are the fucking biggest losers. Okay, anyway, grown men flashing a passport as if they escaped slavery, but they keep coming back to the plantation. Well, first of all, slavery is a state of mind. If these women can openly say that they believe that marriage is slavery, then I guess that the men could openly say that they believe that what they're dealing with these women is slavery as well. So if they decide that they want to pull out their passport and flash it, then that's just what they gonna do. And you ain't gonna do nothing about it. You could say this nonsense on YouTube and hope that you get a couple of views and clicks, but you ain't gonna say nothing about it at all, especially to their face. If they decide that they want to get a big gold chain and they want to strap their passport to that gold chain and they want to strut around wearing a gold chain with a passport, then that's just what they'll do. And you ain't doing nothing about it. I hope you hear the tone of my voice because you ain't doing nothing about it. Okay, next. Go overseas and stay there. No. 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 What you gonna do about it? No. There are some passport bros that will go overseas and they will stay there. But a lot of them aren't. And there ain't nothing you can do about it at all. And you know, it's funny, these are the same exact things that I've heard levied against these fine passport gentlemen by angry strags. So I have to wonder, who's the bigger angry strag? The angry strag posting the video, or the feminized angry strag that goes behind that video to reinforce it? Sad. Okay, if it's is supposed to have an apostrophe, if it's so much better, why are you guys online talking crap? They're not talking crap, they're talking about their experiences. And my question is, if you don't like it, why are you listening to them? There's a question for you. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the reason why I make these videos is because I get extra money on YouTube. I'm going to tell you that right now. That big black Desert Eagle I bought, that was YouTube money. I didn't even use my own spending money out of pocket for that. That big black L5, or that AR-15, or that other AR-15, or that Beretta, or that Kimber, that's YouTube money. So, you know, the reason, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. The reason why I make the videos is so at the end of the month, maybe I make $3,000 instead of $2,500. Now, I know you don't know about that because you don't have the numbers to make that kind of money, and you're not getting enough super chats to make that kind of money. But I'm just saying, that $2,500 a month comes in handy when you want to do investments and you want to buy stuff like big black Desert Eagle 50 calibers that cost $2,000 a pop. That costs $3,000 a round. I'm sorry, $3 a round. $3 a round. Okay, anyway, go already. LOL. And that, I just had to respond to that. Because it was just so stupid. I'm sorry.
Someone who has lived in other countries for a number of years, let me tell you, Black men aren't the only one doing this. Men of all races are doing this. This practice has been going on for so long. It's only the broke Black men who out here clout chasing and who think they're really doing some new shit are the ones who are talking about it. I'm gonna tell you what the real lick is. The men who can afford to go over there, put them a wife in a house, keep her over there, and still maintain back in the States. That's the lick, okay? Like I said, the only reason why this is a trend now is because all the broke boys who couldn't afford it 20, 30, 40 years ago have the money, or they think they have it.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut up, bitch.
I think the thing, again, and I've mentioned this before, I think the thing that bothers me more than anything about Passport Bros is that Passport Bros only got its name because Passport Bros are a bunch of black males who've decided that they're going overseas in order to get wives. Now, the black female response does not in any way surprise me because basically what's happening is similar to what's happening in the white community as well. Right now, there are a lot of white supremacists who've been openly talking about what they call replacement theory. And they have criticized the government. You probably saw them marching with tiki torches on The View or probably on Bill Maher or whatever it was on liberal channels. And they basically were saying, these people will not replace us, right? Replacement theory. Now, I have come on and I've basically said, as far as I'm concerned, it's not a theory, it's a fact. You are being replaced. The 2022 census, or the last census, I shouldn't say 2022, but when I read the 2020 census in 2022, it basically showed that whites had made almost no progress with their numbers. Blacks had only made a smidgen of progress, but the largest progress was made by Hispanics and Asians, and that was based on the census. I don't consider what they're saying to be a theory. I consider it to be a fact. And now that you've got the census backing me up, I absolutely consider it to be a fact. There's no way around it. This country has ruined the middle class. This country has ruined traditional marriage, traditional families, traditional households. So what are these men to do? And I'm not just talking about the black men, I'm talking about the white men too. What are these men to do? Are they supposed to just accept the possibility that they could have a family get divorced because the woman wants a divorce because she wants to be polyamorous, because she wants to be polyandrous with multiple men? Are the men supposed to accept that? Are the men supposed to accept that their wives may divorce them and that they have to now share custody with someone who's living in a house with another man and their children are in the house with some foreign man? I don't think the men want to accept that. Should the men have to accept not being able to get wives? They want wives. These men are not just interested in sex tourism. In the old days, that's what it was. But most of these men are not interested in sex tourism. These men want wives. Should these men have to accept not having a wife because the women just decided that either they want to use them for dates and they want to use them for relationships, but they don't want the marriage? The bottom line is, I believe in capitalism and I believe in the free market. People vote with their feet. Passport bros are voting with their feet and their passports and their money. These women are angry because they can't control these men. They can't control their reproductive habits and their mating abilities. They cannot control these men's wallets. Because first of all, no matter what any of these women say, the bottom line is, if you're traveling to countries that far away, you're not broke. You must be making money. If you're able to marry a woman in another country, you're not broke. You must be making enough money to survive here. The issue now becomes, what the question should be is, why is it that you decided to leave and get a wife in another country instead of marrying here? When you look at these dating services and you look at these women online, you realize right away that these women are playing the field. And as they're playing the field, all they're doing is running their body count up. And the men have figured this out. They don't want nothing to do with it. So they said, you know what, I'm just going to divest. Some of these men claim that they're monk mode and this, that, and other. But I think monk mode is a waste of energy and time. Monk mode, you might as well get your passport. You ain't got to be no monk. Get your passport, you go overseas, find the type of wife of your choosing, one that has been raised in a traditional manner, and get that. Because chances are it's a lot easier for you to go over there and get that than it is for you to deal with what you got right here. So these women, just as much as these white supremacists, as far as they're concerned, they are threatened and they are being replaced. That is the language that you need to understand. They feel threatened because they know they're being replaced. They feel threatened because they know they're being replaced. And the same goes for all these people who call themselves pro-blacks. Now let me ask you this question. If black men get their passports and they go overseas and they get women who absolutely want lasting marriages and they stay married to those women and they have children with those women, then that would mean that they're creating a whole new community. It's just that they're not doing it on your terms. See, they're not trying to perpetuate that Pookie and Ray Ray bullshit. What they're ultimately doing is they're creating a brand new community with Haji and Simrandeep and Amran Singh. I'm just making up names. I'm sorry, but I'm making up names that are obviously foreign. But the thing about it is, no matter how foreign those names are, they're still going to love their kids. Whether their kids could come from Philippines, and their kids are named, make up something, Angelo. Yeah. So Angelo, their kid named Angelo is their new son. What y'all want to do is you want to perpetuate Pookie and Ray Ray. That's what you want to do. I've decided that I'm anti-Pookie and Ray Ray. So now we have an impasse, and at that impasse there is war. We are right. That is what this passport bros situation is. This is war. I love using that word. We are right. It is the ultimate battle of ideology. And you're going to lose. Because say what you might, the passport bros are doing what they're doing legally. They're taking their money, they're taking their resources, they're taking their passports, and they're going to greener pastures, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Okay, listen up. You can get your passport in just a few days. You can expedite it. You pay a little extra fee. It comes real quick. Because you know what? Despite, what others think, I'm in support of all of y'all, your kind. Yep. Leaving the country and looking for a wife. Good luck with that. I hope y'all got some coins. Because women in other countries don't do 50-50. That's why she cooks and cleans. Because she ain't working nowhere. And her family gonna make sure of it. By the way, get ready for them to come and move into your house too. Y'all good luck with that. One big happy family. I'm in full support. Go for it. Do it.
To be continued.